What's up, traders? What's up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. We're going to break down Baba and take a look at Alibaba on a 1 hour time frame. It had a huge, massive sell-off after earnings, and we'll look and see potentially if it is due for a bounce, right? We'd be looking for a little bit of an ABC structure here. Then we'll actually zoom out and take a look at the weekly time frame so you guys can get an idea of the big picture for Baba, and as well as the daily chart, how we just broke down out of this triangle pattern. There's two gaps down to fill. We'll kind of break down what those gaps are, but there's some bullish divergence here forming too. So there could be, some opportunity for some, trades, all right, at the moment when it comes to Alibaba. We'll break down all of those time frames and all of those different analysis in today's video. So be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. As always, the content provided on the channel is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. So be sure to read through the disclaimer. And if you're new to the channel, I started a completely free newsletter for you guys called Investment Intelligence, giving out free finance content and free trade ideas. These are what some of the trade ideas will look like, highlighting the conditions, showing the chart for you guys. There's been a lot of really good trades. Okay, we went short on the home builders, a couple months ago, highlighting, many different home builder ETFs, some individual stocks within the home builders. And that was a really good trading opportunity. The home builders ended up dropping 18.5%. We also have a short idea here on, Stanley Black & Decker. There was a rising wedge highlighting where it can go down in the newsletter, right? And you can see that trade played out perfectly as well. So if you're fans of free valuable content and free trade ideas, you're going to want to sign up for that newsletter. Link is in the description. I try to sprinkle in 1 to 2 free trade ideas for you guys every single week, and you can get those straight to your inbox. All right. You can also join the Investment Intelligence Discord, where you get access to all of the different charts and analysis that I'm looking at, as well as a plethora of resources, really valuable resources. Okay, now enough about those. All right, we'll go ahead and hop into the video and let's talk about this 1 hour chart here on Baba. Now, generally, the market tends to move in waves, okay? You either have a 3-wave structure or a 5-wave structure, okay? And so a 3-wave structure comes in the form of an ABC. So this would be something like an A right here, and then a B, and then a C. Now, your third wave, all right, is always typically the largest and most explosive, okay? Whether it's a 5-wave setup or a 3-wave setup, okay, that wave C or that wave 3 in a 5-wave structure is typically the largest and strongest and most impulsive, okay? And so what we're looking here is, we've had the massive sell-off, and if Baba is due for a correction, in this case, it would be a correction from the massive sell-off to the upside, we would be looking for it to make about a 50% to potentially a 61.8% retracement for the wave C targets. Now, it doesn't always have to go there, okay? It can get stopped short at the 38.2. These three are the most common retracement levels, right? And the most well respected and the most commonly basically hit targets. Okay, now this blue box right here is basically the daily gap. Okay, the gap on the daily chart. Gaps tend to fill about 90% of the time historically. We've seen a nice little bounce here. And if we were to pull back, right now, this doesn't have to be the top of wave A, right? If this continues to go higher and gets above 78.39, then we'll have to reformulate a little bit of these Fibonacci levels and the Fibonacci retracement levels of support down here. But let's just say that this wave A is in and we're coming down now for our wave B. Okay, currently the targets for wave B are going to be 77.33, 76.98, and 76.62. Okay, you can enter and look to enter into a trade here around these levels and put a stop loss shortly below for a really good risk to reward ratio to potentially catch this wave C up higher into the gap above, right? And that would be 83.11, 81.66, and $80.2. Those are going to be your targets potentially for this wave C. Now, we've got a little bit of some bullish divergence forming, right? Where, we had lows here, we're coming down, making new lows. We had lows here on the RSI, lows here on the RSI. So the price is going down, but the RSI is relatively flat, basically throughout this level. And it's even a little bit higher right here. So we have, low, we have higher low, we have low, we have lower low. This is a bullish divergence, right? And we could potentially see this help play out in that ABC bounce that we are looking for. But when we take a look at the big picture for Baba, right, It's pretty much still just in phase two, right? So there's typically three phases to a reversal. You have the downtrend, right? And so we had this bearish channel that we were trading in for a very long time, for a couple years in Baba. And then we got box consolidation, right? That is phase two, right? So, you have the downtrend, then you have the box consolidation, and then phase three is going to be that reversal where you get the move to the upside, right? So ultimately, Baba's still in range between 125 and about 55. Okay, that is the range for Baba. It's a big range. Okay, so not to say there aren't plenty of opportunities for trading within this range, but ultimately, if you want to see a long-term shift in the tone and narrative for Baba, you'll need to break out above 125, retest that area as support, hold that as support, and then we can potentially get that larger reversal, right? And remember, this is a weekly time frame. This isn't going to happen in a day or in a week, right? This is going to be a much larger and long-term development. If you notice all of these blue boxes here, these are gaps as well. There's tons and tons of gaps up on the Baba chart. And, as we mentioned before, about 90% of the time, those gaps do tend to fill. The big question is when, right? Not so much if, but rather when. Sometimes they take years to fill, as evidenced by this chart. Sometimes they just take weeks, months, or days, right? If we zoom in a little bit more and take a look at the daily time frame, we have some bullish divergence here again, right? So just in case you weren't clear on what that is, take a look how we have lows right here on the price, and now we're making lower lows here on the price, right? So price is in a downtrend, but the RSI, your relative strength index, is actually making lows and then higher lows, right? And so we've got this bullish divergence here at the moment. We've bounced off of this trend line 2 times in the past, and we're approaching it again here for a third time. So what all does this mean? Well, if we start to combine, our first chart here, and we're looking for a potential pullback for wave B and then a launch up for wave C, that would coincide with this RSI just dropping down just a little bit more, a little bit closer towards this trend line, and then bouncing off of that trend line there again for the wave C up on that smaller time frame, of that 1 hour time frame. And then this big blue box right here is that same gap that we're looking at here on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, just different time frames here. But ultimately, right, we do need to be pretty cautious here because we've had this long-term triangle pattern here that we were, consolidating, squeezing in, and rather than breaking out to the upside, we are breaking down to the downside. And there's a gap to fill at 73.91 and another gap here to fill right around $67, $66. So, what all does this mean for traders and investors? Well, if we are getting continuation from this triangle pattern, which oftentimes triangle patterns are going to be continuation patterns, and we took a look at that weekly trend, it was a downtrend, right? And then we formed a triangle here. And so continuation would be to the downside, right? And so that would coincide with us most likely coming down and filling these gaps on Baba, right? Now, it doesn't have to happen, but, that is a likely scenario here. And, what are going to be some signals? Well, the MACD is already starting to curl over a little bit and curl to the downside. If that continues, that's going to be more bearish continuation, basically. And let's say we do get a little bit of a dead cat bounce here, okay? And let's say we bounce off of that trend line and breaking through this bullish divergence trend line is most likely going to be a signal that we're coming down to fill one, if not both, of these gaps down. So you do want to pay attention to this bullish divergence trend line. It's going to be a really good and helpful indicator for some of the potential price action in Baba. If it bounces here, right, then we could actually see that move up and it would potentially get some of this gap fill here. But ultimately, if it breaks through this bullish divergence trend line here, that could spell some more downside and reinforce some of the other patterns and indicators that we're looking at, such as the bearish MACD at the moment and the breakdown of that bearish continuation triangle right here. So that's mostly what I'm looking at when it comes to Baba. If you enjoyed today's analysis, you can actually book a one-on-one session with me. I do one-on-one sessions. There's 30-minute and 1 hour sessions. Those are available to book directly through the Ko-Fi platform here. You click on commissions, and that's where you can book a 30-minute or 1 hour session. I do these trading sessions and coaching sessions all the time. You can also use the Ko-Fi platform as a way to basically leave a tip or donation by clicking on this buy a coffee button. And you can also request a specific YouTube video on the topic of your choice, all directly through that Ko-Fi platform. That's basically one of the best places to reach out to me. Don't forget to sign up for that free newsletter, Investment Intelligence, giving out free trade ideas and free valuable finance content every single week. You can get those straight to your inbox. And if you want access to all of the different charts and trade ideas, as well as the many other resources in the Discord, feel free to use the link in the description as well to sign up for the Investment Intelligence Discord. Okay. And it's very affordable, right? It's less than a cup of coffee a week. So it's not like anything crazy. Okay. Appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you in the next one.